Welcome to the lecture of Python for Data Science. In this video lecture, we will cover the topic that is reading the other Microsoft Office file and sending the data in unstructured file form from the unit number 3. So let's get started. So first of all, we will see that is reading the MS Office file. In that particular one, we will see how to read the Word file, that is the file with docx or the doc as the extension. So let's see its implementation part. So in the Anaconda prompt, you have to write the syntax like this, that is pip space install space python dash docx. So you have to wait for this particular library to get installed. So this is only one time process. Once you are installing such type of library, then in future you can use it multiple times. So you have to wait for this particular library to get downloaded and to get installed in your Anaconda configuration. After the successful installation of this particular library, we will start with our Python code. So let's see that. So after successful installation, you are writing, that is import docx. So this docx will be executed successfully. You can see over here that it shows me the number as 2 in my cell because my this particular cell has successfully executed. If you are finding the error like module not found, that is docx module not found, then it means that your installation process or the downloading process has not completed yet. So you have to finish that first and then you can run this cell. Now I am not using the alias, directly I am writing docx.document and I am passing the path, the complete path where my file is present. That is your drive, then your folder name, and at last you have to write your file name with extension. So my extension of the file is .docx and file name is abc. So let's see how my abc.docx looks like. What is the content within the abc? This is the content within my abc Word document and I want to read this file. So you are making use of the backward slash over here. So when you will make use of the backward slash like this in Python, so you have to write R like this, because when you will copy the path from the address bar of the Windows, at that time you will get the backward slash like this. So you can write R like this if you are using the backward slash, then see the cell will get executed successfully. If you are making use of the forward slash, then you do not have to write any type of R. You can write directly such path by using the forward slash, it will execute successfully. So for the backward slash only, you have to write R outside the double quotes. Now whatever my document is, now it is present in my doc object and I am writing doc.paragraph. So how many paragraphs are there in my document? That will be stored in my object called all underscore paras. And I am printing the length of all paras. So it is giving me the length as 8 because there are total 8 different rows in my document. You can see this is my first row, second row, third row, then one empty row is over here. This is my fourth row. This is my fifth row, again the empty row, sixth, seventh and eighth. So like this, there are 8 different lines in my rows. So it is showing me the length as 8 over here. Now next is what I am doing. I want to print each and every line from my document. So I can make use of the for loop. So I am writing for. This is my object name, that is the para I have given over here, for para in all paras. So this all paras came from here, which contains my content of my Word document. and I am printing all the line one by one. So for printing the text, I am writing para.text. So this para came from here, that is my for loop. So I'm writing para.text and I'm printing the line. After the first line, I want to also print the dash dash line. So let's see. So this is my content, that is hello all, then again dash, second line, again dash, third line, again dash, two empty lines, again followed by the dash, and like this my complete document will get read and it will be displayed in your IPython notebook file. So this was all about how to read the Word document, that is a .doc or .docx using the Python code. Now we will see the next topic, that is sending data in unstructured file form. Now when we are talking about the unstructured file form, it means we are talking about the image data, or we are talking about some unstructured data, or we can say the data which contains the collection of different links. So in the unstructured file form, so many unstructured file format are available, but we will be using the implementation regarding the image data. So image is one of the unstructured file form, and we will see that how to deal with the unstructured file format. So for implementation of this particular topic, that is dealing with the unstructured data, I am making use of the online editor. So in the Google, you can write like this, that is online Jupyter notebook, and you will get the first two links as the jupyter.org. So from any of these two links, you can click on any of the link. Suppose I am clicking on the first link, that is the try Jupyter notebook, then my link will get open like this. And from this link, that is the jupyter.org, I am making use of this particular online Jupyter lab. So I'm clicking on it, that is online Jupyter lab, and my online editor will get open and we will code in it. Why we are doing so? Because it happens sometime that some of the library can't install in your Anaconda configuration due to some installation issue. So for that particular error, the solution is you can make use of the online editor. The benefit of using the online editor is that you do not have to install any type of library. Directly you have to import that library and you can start using it. So you do not have to worry about the installation process of that particular library. So that is the main benefit. So it will happen that in your computer system, some of the library are not successfully installing or does not download it successfully. So for that, you can make use of the online Jupyter lab. So this is my by default code which is available in the IPython notebook. I do not want to use this, so I'm clicking on the new file. So I will click over here, that is the plus symbol. You can see my mouse pointer. So I'm clicking on this particular plus sign and my new launcher is shown in the tab, and I want to code in Python 3. I want the notebook. I do not want the console of Python 3. So I'm clicking on the notebook and I'm selecting this particular Python 3. So my untitled .ipython notebook file has opened. I'm right clicking on it. I'm renaming the notebook and I'm giving the name as unstructured format file. Suppose I'm giving the name like this. You can give any name and my file has created. You can see that file over here also, that is in the left hand side panel also. So after writing the code, you can also download the file from here, that is the download option is there. So it will be downloaded in your computer system and then you can make use in the future purpose also. Now we will see the code related to the image. So we have to import one library, that is skimage.io. So you have to import this library, that is the skimage, and from that I am using the imread function, resize function, and I am importing the matplot library. Now over here, first of all, I will load my image file, and then I will read that image file, and then I will show that file in my Python code. So over here, I have mentioned the file path where my file is present, where my image file is present. So my image file is rgb underscore image.jpg. Now this particular file, it is necessary that it should be present over here in this directory where my .ipython notebook is saved. So my this file is not over here. So let's upload that. So for uploading, you have to click this upload file icon over here. So I'm clicking on this particular icon, and I have one image, that is rgb underscore image. I will provide you this image. So my this image is uploaded. You can see over here that it is showing me my this particular image. After this image is now stored in my example underscore file. So after loading this image, it is stored in my object called example underscore file. I am reading this image. To read the image, your function name is imread, which is present in the sk image library. Which image you want to read? You want to read example underscore file. I do not want to read that file in terms of grayscale. So I do not want to convert the colored image into the grayscale. So I am writing as underscore gray equals to false. So I have read that image file, and it is stored in my object name called image. For displaying the output over here after the cell, so I am writing plt dot imshow. Imshow is imshow is used to show the image. So the function name is like this, that is im stands for the image, show means show the image, im stands for the image again, and read means read the image. So imread and imshow. So when you run this particular cell, then you will get the output like this, that is your image, and it shows the various different axes like this. Now it is showing me this particular line, that is the matplot image axis image, it is there. So if you do not want such line, then you can write like this, that is plt.show. So it will now only show the image, which has the different marks, the text on the image. So this is my image. Now I want to know the type of the image. So I am printing print type of image. Where this image came from? This is my object, that is over here, that I have read that image file, and it is stored in my image object, and I am printing print type of image. So it is giving me the type as like this. This is the class. So this image is in terms of array. You can read over here that it is written as array. So whatever the image is there, image contains some pixel. So when you consider one particular pixel, that one particular pixel has some x coordinate and has some y coordinate. So what is the image? It is the collection of the pixel in the horizontal and in the vertical direction. So when you are reading the image, what will happen? All the pixels get read, and it will be stored in an array because all the pixels has some x and y coordinate. So when you are reading the image, it will show you the type as like this, either the array of the util class or of the numpy array. So that image will be finally in the form of array. Now I want to know the image shape. So let's see, the image shape is like this, that is 255, 225, sorry, it is 225, 225 and then comma 3. So this is my x direction, y direction, and 3 is my channel. channel means because it is the colored image, so it is showing me as 3. How it is useful, that we will discuss. Now over here, what I am doing is I want to crop the image. You must have seen the cropping functionality in your smartphone, that you are cropping the image. But if you want to crop the image using the Python code, then you can do like this. So whatever you are doing the cropping in the smartphone, in the background, some programming will happen, and that programming will be like this. So which image I want to crop? I want to crop the image as the object, and I am writing on the x-axis, that is 5:150, and on the y-axis I want 0:170. It means from 5 to 150, and I am giving the second argument from 0 to 170. So whatever this cropping will happen, that will be stored in my image2 as an object. And for showing the image2 in the output, you have to write image show function, that is plt.imageShow, and you are writing image2, and then you are writing plt.show, where plt is from the matplotlib library. So when you run this code, then you can see that your image is now get cropped. So what this 5 to 150 is showing? This 5 to 150 is showing you in the vertical direction. So your image cropping starts from the 5. So it will start from the 5 and it will go up to 150. So the last tick, it is showing as 140, then comes 150. As it is starting from 5, but it shows the tick from the 0 only. So it always, the tick starts from the 0. And the second argument is 0 to 170. So you can see over here, it starts from 0 till it is 150 over here. And this last right hand side corner, that is right hand side bottom corner, this will be your 170. So let's change this arguments. Now instead of 170, I want 270 over here, and which starts from 100. So let's run this code. Then you can see it ends at 270. So let's see above that it starts from 100 like this. So 100 is somewhere over here. So it shows some blue line, and it ends at 270. So 270 will be somewhere over here. So this part will be cropped. That is some portion of the blue, the red, and some portion of the green. So it is showing me the blue, red, and green like this. The total is 170 because 270 minus 100, the total is 170, but always the tick will start from the 0. So it is showing me the 0 like this. So whatever the portion of the image that you want to crop, then you can give the numbers like this, and it will be cropped according to this particular given text in the graph, or we can say in the image. So this is how you can crop the image. Now I want to save this cropped image. So for saving this cropped image, you have to write the function like this, that is image save. So the function name is imsave, which is available in the matplotlib library. You are giving the file name. The file name is like this, that is cropped_rgb.jpg. And which image you want to store? I want to store this particular object, that is the image2, which contains my this particular cropped image. So when you run this particular cell, then you can see that your cell has successfully executed. In this particular list, now you can see the image, that is the cropped_rgb. See, it is showing you your cropped image. You can also download it from here. So it will get downloaded in your computer system, and you can open it, and you can see that it is showing you the cropped image which you have saved.